Mhm.
Fantastic. So I'm joined by Adam this afternoon. I'll pass straight over to you, Adam. If you want to tell us a bit about your business, what it is, and how long you've been running for.
Yeah, so as already said, my name's Adam. I own a company called what they call Charleston Restoration. So we own a franchise which is called Rainbow International. Rainbow International is a UK nationwide company. So I'm one of 51 franchisees in the UK. So we cover from the tip of Scotland right down to, well, tip of Land's End, so end to end of the country. What we basically do is fire and flood damage on behalf of insurance companies. So that could be, if you've come home from work, you found, unfortunately, you've had a leak from a washing machine or a boiler, something like that, then that's when you would call your insurance company. And it would be a company like ourselves who would come out and repair the damage or, kind of give you advice on what to do. I'm a relatively young company. I've only been operating the franchise now for 3 to 4 months. The company itself has only been established since this year. So a bit of a strange time to start a company, but you've got to start it at some point.
Yeah. Is it just you at the moment? Do you have other people working alongside you, like a small team? Or
it's just me currently. So my wife helps me with the admin work. Luckily, because it's the industry I've always been in for, I've done the job myself for about 12 years. Mm-hmm. So it kind of made sense for myself to do the work myself and then have a bit of help with the admin on the other side because it's kind of what I'm used to doing. Yeah. Then obviously as the company grows up, and then we'll obviously look to employ people, so I'll kind of do less on the tools and kind of do more helping and training others to kind of know the job.
Yeah, fantastic. That seems to be the organic path which most businesses take. So hopefully that'll get you there. So previous to I guess you running the business now, were you an employee beforehand?
Yes. So exactly that. I've always been employed. Since we've always had at young ages, we've always had our jobs washing dishes and things like that. But yeah, in the last sort of 10 to 12 years, so I said I've always been within the industry in the local area, always been based in Cornwall, just kind of working for other companies who did exactly the same job, just obviously with different names on the t-shirt. Yeah. But yeah, as I say, it's where I've gained all my qualifications and all my experiences. So it's just kind of a hand in hand kind of way to get into owning a Rainbow franchise, just because obviously it's the area I work in and it's kind of the job I do.
Okay. So were you aware of Rainbow before you?
Yes, I had actually worked for Rainbow previously myself.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I had actually worked for another franchisee. So I'm more than aware of Rainbow. And then I knew kind of when the area, if the area was to come available again, it would be something I definitely wanted to try to be able to kind of get established so that it kind of be the sort of rest of life plan realistically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess as you sort of have taken over within sort of recent months as such, has COVID sort of impacted you as a business owner now, or were you sort of not really a part of that because you were just acting as an employee throughout COVID?
Yeah, I mean, luckily the industry as a whole, including the business, it's within the construction industry. Mm-hmm. So obviously we were always granted to be able to work through the whole pandemic. Yeah. So yes, there's been uncertain times for everybody, but luckily we were always granted permission to work constantly through the whole pandemic. Because some of our specialist services on the side away from fire and flood, sort of trauma, mold cleaning, all that kind of thing, COVID cleaning became sort of part of that. Okay. Yeah. So in a way, it was almost another service to add because of the pandemic, rather than sort of taking stuff away from us. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we were lucky to always keep going. Of course, there was interruption where obviously some people didn't want you in the house, or some people did contract COVID, etc. So yeah, there was kind of knock-on effects like that, but realistically, from a business point of view itself, it didn't have a direct impact on us. Mm-hmm. Like I say, if anything, the potential, I wouldn't want to go anything to benefit from COVID, but obviously the potential that we managed to add extra services to our kind of already program.
Yeah, which is, great. I've seen quite a lot of, I guess, the machines which people use as like cleaning. So is it like they put it in the room, close the doors, and like set this machine off and it cleans? It looks amazing.
Yeah, the ozone machines, they're amazing bits of kit, the ozone, because before using it for the COVID method, we use it for fire damage a lot.
Okay, so you knew what it was.
Because ozoning's good for removing fire damage odor from products. So the industry itself has been using ozone since, well, forever, really. It's just one of those kind of things of hence why it was easy to do the COVID things, because we were all already kind of geared up for it because we had it all from other projects.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, fantastic. So you knew what it was. That's good. I think it's gonna, like, put it in a room and it's going to pick up all the clothes and put everything away. You're going to walk in. So fantastic. As a franchise owner now, sort of briefly talked about this as sort of something you wanted to do when your opportunity arose again. Where do you sort of see yourself in 5 years with the franchise? How do you expect to have grown within 5 years in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it will hopefully benefit our lifestyle home realistically, because we own and operate. I always call it a farm, but it's more of a equestrian property. We kind of do our own horse breeding and all that kind of thing. And my wife competes with the horses. So she has her own job and I have my own job at the same point. Obviously, we have quite a lot going on in the background with obviously the farm and horses as well. So ideally what would be nice is to gain some local people to be able to train them, myself be able to train them up so they kind of go through their qualifications and learn to get them how to do the job, etc. So that hopefully then I would say within 5 years, it'd be nice to have at least 4 to 5 local people trained up and fully full-time employed. Then myself would then go back into an overseeing sort of role rather than kind of being on the tools day in, day out. It'd be a case of more overseeing and training everyone to make sure everyone's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5 years is a nice time frame, I think, to be able to put that into perspective. And as you say,
definitely
the Cornish quality of life, as we all like to have.
Yeah, exactly. I came into owning a franchise, again, because I've seen it all before. I came to own the franchise with eyes wide open. I knew it was going to be a year or so of hard graft by myself. I've got a great network of people who are qualified who help me on an ad hoc basis. So I've got the ad hoc power for large jobs. But of course, I knew it was going to be sort of 7 days a week, late nights, and I was more than prepared for it, because you'll do anything to kind of make it work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had a previous interview, one of the questions we sort of spoke about was, what would you say to anybody that's thinking of going into business? And his advice was this: as your own boss, your hours are long. They're a lot longer than what
yeah.
But then hopefully that will pay off, and then in 5 years you can give yourself sort of like you wanted. So that's great.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So what would you sort of say to anybody that was thinking about going into business themselves? Any I would say it's definitely worthwhile, because someone like myself who kind of, I've started industry and worked my way up to sort of the highest qualification level. Unfortunately, some jobs you kind of get to that point where there's not much room to move. Mm-hmm. So the only kind of realistic option you have is to become your own owner or do your own thing. But of course, you kind of want to do it in the area So I would always advise, but of course, with that does always come a risk. Obviously, it's not where a lot of people may see it. Kind of go, oh, we knew him yesterday, he was working there, but now he's doing this. It's not as simple as just kind of starting a new job. Yeah. As you say, it's a lot of long hours. It's a massive financial commitment. Because of course, like a lot of business owners, you won't take a wage to begin with, so you have to make sure you've got the right support network at home. So it's not even just about. I think what we found with running the franchise is the actual franchise or the actual job itself is the easiest part. All the doing of it is the easiest part. It's all the support network, the commitments you've got to do to put yourself on there. That's what you kind of got to make sure you've got more solid understanding of. Yeah. So then I think your business must sort of mirror ours slightly. Like we are a franchise too, and then Tim, who is the business director, sort of in your role taken on. So do you still have sort of people to, I guess, report to further up the line? Is it sort of stop with you? Or?
Yes. Yeah. So although, like you say, the franchise we have is kind of I own the territory from Plymouth to Land's End. Yeah. Obviously, there is a head office that kind of still regulates everything we do. So every job that will get audited by them before it goes out. So they've basically got an eye on everything we do. So obviously keep the standards up. Yeah. Because of course, when you've got a whole UK operation, you want to make sure the standards are all the same, that everyone's getting the same level of service. So if someone phoned us in Cornwall compared to someone in London, they all get the same prices, service, etc. So there's a lot for them to monitor, which is a great thing. It's a great selling point for the company that, the standards are still going to be high straight across the board because we all work off the same hymn sheet realistically.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. So looking sort of advice to yourself, Adam, what would you sort of say to an 18-year-old you if you knew what was sort of the future was to hold or how you could change things?
I think if I was to look back and give myself advice, would be not necessarily to decide your future at that point, but be more realistic to where you want to end up. You know, because we've all kind of been there at a younger age, we bounced through a few jobs, but time passes quickly, I think is the easy way to put it. Yeah. You know, I think because you know, sort of last year before, I started my master's degree in surveying as well to go alongside everything.
Oh, wow.
But of course, sometimes it's easier to do it at a younger age, and then, you know, you can get those kind of milestones under your belt quicker. So I wouldn't say, obviously, as soon as you leave school, you must be set to where you've got to go. But I'd definitely be thinking, if I had my chance again, be thinking of a career path earlier. You know, you could have got to your destination earlier than where you are kind of at the end.
You could be those 5 years ahead today.
Yeah, exactly that.
And then finally, just something we like to include in the newsletter, if it's something you do or not, whether you have sort of any packages or any offers which you sort of have that you would offer to people through Rainbow. Yeah,
I mean, realistically, the rainbow spectrum of what we offer is so huge. Obviously, you know, from leak detection, mold, say trauma seat, you name it. We basically all the things that you wouldn't understand what someone would do, we do those jobs.
Yeah.
Or when you walk in your house and go, help, what's happened? Those are the kind of jobs that we can help with. So realistically, we do offer a discount for customers, which would be a straight 10% discount across, which would be overall services. Which would basically mean a final billing, should we say, which, you know, is something we can happily add through, especially on behalf of the coaching service here. Is something we can definitely do.
Yeah, fantastic. That's fine. That's something for us to include. So that's good. It's a nice way to end anyway. But I'll just pause the recording now.
That's right.